Watch this.
We ready?
Can you see it?
You need to move that chair.
So, just to be clear, what are we doing here?
Just a
Just hold it.
You just want to go back over the
Accidentally
just to, huh?
accidentally deleted it.
Well, that and the special test, yeah, like to do it with the special test, because I thought it had been uploaded and it wasn't. I deleted them off our disk so we have room, and then I realized it wasn't uploaded yet.
Okay.
So maybe like a talking through, run through, and then a silent one.
Oh, okay.
Like you did last time.
Whatever we have to do for the SPBL.
Pardon me?
I said, whatever we have to do for the
No, that's
SPBL.
not the correct way to say it. It's whatever you have to do to do a proper abdominal exam. That's the way you say it. First of all, you should be on the patient's right side. Let me shut the doors first. First of all, shut the doors.
Hey, Sammy, can you kick that chair?
No.
Thank you.
You should be on the patient's right side with their, and they will always want to put their hands right here. So just kind of gently put your hands right here for the exam. You want to make sure you're looking at the abdomen. Is that okay to look at your abdomen? You have a thing on the.
I was sports bra, yeah. These are a little bit off.
Oh, okay. All right. So, and again, her hands went right back to where they.
This is narrow.
One of the things that apparently was on the list that, the phys die list that I didn't include, and I usually don't include it on the abdominal exam, but you can, is just in the very beginning as you are inspecting. So I see in inspection, she has a few nevi. And if she had a pierced belly button, I would note that. Patient has pierced this, that, or the other. I would note that she has the Constitution tattooed on the right side of her chest and abdomen right here. So, that is a thing you want to include on inspection. If you're going to say something about a piercing, I would maybe toss in there that it's not erythematous, and once you touch it, there's no induration, just to be on the safe side. Now, I've already washed my hands, of course, but one of the things I did not include the other day is to just have the patient, can you just lift your head up? And you're looking right here for diastasis recti. You can put your head up, okay? I don't also see any pulsations, which is one of the primary things you're inspecting for. You don't want to put your hands on, don't touch them if you see pulsations from a possible AAA, okay? So, everything looks fine here, and if I'm describing this, I would describe her abdomen as flat, and when you touch it, it's going to be firm, soft, not rigid, no guarding, those types of descriptors, okay? So after just the inspection, you go to auscultation, and again, you want to auscultate all 4 quadrants with the diaphragm. Some people do diaphragm and bell, but what you're listening for vowel sounds. If you hear them with the diaphragm, why both? So I would do all 4 quadrants, listening for vowel sounds, and usually you're going to hear them pretty quickly. And remember the quadrant, the lower quadrant. So here's the top of her pubic bone is right there, and here's her umbilicus. So this is the lower quadrant. It's pretty, it's not right here. It's all of that right there. Okay, thanks. So all 4 quadrants, listening for auscultation. While they're here, while you have your stethoscope in your ear, I flip it over to the bell, and I'll just go ahead and listen to bruits, the 2 renals, the aorta, the iliacs, common iliacs, and there's her femoral artery is going to be right there in her etmoidal ligament. So you're going to listen here. And like in this case, I would just pull her, just pull her pants up and just slide it down in there. That's the easiest way to do it. Okay, on both sides. Remembering that the location of the renal arteries, if this is her CVA right here, her renal arteries are up here high. and not down here at her belly button. And remember that the aorta essentially bifurcates right there at the umbilicus, so the common iliacs are right here. Okay, so iliac auscultation is high, not way down here. Okay, so we've got inspection, we've got auscultation. Some people do percussion next, some people do palpation. It doesn't matter to me. If you're going to do percussion, there are two different things to do percussion on. One is the general abdomen. So over here is where you're going to find the gastric air bubble. You should be able to listen for a hollow sound versus over here where you've got the edge of the liver, the gallbladder, the colon is right here, and the kidney. So it should be more dull, and it is. And what you're kind of doing this screening for is if I come up here on, just a little bit higher. One time there was a student, and I said, she had a sports bra thing on, and I said, can you just move it up a little bit? And she did like that, just flopped them both out. You know, as a program director, that's not where I want to be. So anyway, in the screening percussion, what you don't want to run into is that. You hear that? That's liver. You don't want to hear that down in here. If you do, then you need to be thinking about some mass lesion down in here. So she has a normal percussed abdomen. Now at this point you can also percuss out the liver borders while you're percussing. So that's why if you're going to percuss, you might as well knock it all out, just like the auscultation with the bruits. So here's the margin of her chest wall right here. So just anecdotal, just right off the cuff, I don't feel her liver down here, so that's a good sign. So we're going to start low. Right here under the rib. Now we're between the ribs. Right there. You hear the sound, a little bit sound different. Now we come from the top, just a little bit, just a tiny bit. I want to make sure. That's lung. That's liver. You can tell the difference? If you want to get the camera, this is lung. Just move that a little bit. I'm trying to get right there in that liver. You hear that hollowness? And I move down one intercostal space. That's liver. Can't get over the shirt there. That's good right there. One intercostal space. You hear it's lower pitched versus thumping it. Okay? So the top of her liver is there. The bottom of her liver was right about there. So you're in good shape. Okay? And at the mid-clavicular line, so if you had a ruler, I don't know if Brooks wanted you to measure out the, so what I would do is, if that's the top of it, take a pen and mark there, and then measure it. It's 4 centimeters or something like that. Now you can also do the same thing technically for the spleen, but you can't percuss out a spleen. It's one of those things, I don't know why they even try to teach you to do that. You really can't percuss out a spleen unless it's grossly enlarged. Okay? Any questions about the percussion? Okay, so then, yes.
We just need to do like the length of it. We don't need a width.
Some people will do the liver at the mid-clavicular line and over here in the sternal line. But what did she say?
She said to do the scratch test instead of percussion.
Okay, or scratch, and that's the well, Yeah, you can do it one of two ways. You can percuss it out, or you can do the scratch test. So going back to auscultation, it's simply putting your stethoscope, the diaphragm, on the liver, anywhere, and just scratch the abdomen from the bottom up and scratch the chest from the top down. And you'll hear a change in tone when you get over the liver. Those two tests tell you the width of the liver. When we get to a palpation and you're doing the liver, they call it liver regular, I don't know why, but here, or the hooking test here, all you're doing there is you're feeling the free edge. You're not getting an estimate of the size. So that's why there are really two ways to approach the liver. Okay? I mean, if you have a big old cirrhotic liver and the edge is down here, do you really need to percuss out the size? It's freaking huge, all right? Okay, so we've got that done. So let's, light palpation is with one hand, again, the flat part of the fingers. And I don't look at the patient, you know, I kind of look off into space, just really trying to feel in there. Yeah, I would say her abdomen, she's got, if you come down here, you can feel, she's got maybe less than a centimeter of subcutaneous fat. And then you can feel her, actually this is very good to feel. You can feel her abdominal wall, the muscle part of her abdominal wall real well. You can distinguish between the two very well, as a matter of fact. So, you know, I'd say her abdomen is firm. I wouldn't describe it as soft. I'd describe mine as boggy, you know, bloated, whatever, gaseous. But just feel the 4 quadrants, just feeling for any firmness or mass. That's what you're feeling for. Okay. And also, it'll give you, if she has peritonitis, if she has a rigid abdomen, and even you're doing this light palpation, you'll feel her tense up, or, you know, tell you it's painful. Okay. And then deep palpation. In deep palpation, again, as I said before, it should not feel good. And it's one hand on top of the other. And you slowly work your way down in there, feeling again for masses. Okay. Now her abdomen is so, her muscles are so tight here, I would probably go ahead and have her bend her legs. Yeah, and that loosens them up a little bit. And just all 4 quadrants. Okay. Again, this is where students have the biggest problem. They start kneading, you know, and with their fingertips. Don't do that. Go slow and try to feel with your fingers, the flat part of your fingers, okay? We did the liver, put your fingers in position, and then have them take a deep breath. Okay, good. Put your fingers in position, now take a deep breath. Okay. You can feel our liver edge there. Do the same thing on the side of the spleen, take a deep breath. Okay, one bit of advice, if you get her to take a deep breath as you're going in, you won't get very far because she'll tighten up. Okay, so another way on the spleen, again, is to have her roll over on her right side and then come over here, in your hand in the CVA area, put your other hand underneath the costal margin right there and take a deep breath, and you're feeling for it there. And I don't feel anything there. Now roll back over again to feel the kidneys. You put your hand in, and you also don't want to put their hand up because that tightens the abdomen, right? So put your hand in the CVA or the flank here, lifting up, push down, and then get her to take it, oh, you can feel your, that hurt right there? You can feel her kidney really well. Take a deep breath. So as she takes a deep breath, the diaphragm moves the kidney and you should be able to feel it. And you can feel, if you come down, you can feel her left kidney really well. The lateral edge of it, you can feel the roundness of it. And then come over here and do the same thing on this side. Deep breath. There you go, take there. Oh, there it is right there. You feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it hurts to do that. So you can feel her, come on down here, let's give her some pain. Come on down. And that's basically it. Now, for the special test, let me quickly run through the special test. Murphy's sign, just get your hand in position, take a deep breath, and push in. If she's got gallbladder disease, bile duct disease, that she will have respiratory inhaling arrest. It should go like that because of the pain. McBurney's point, there's her anterior superior iliac spine. There's her umbilicus. Halfway between the two is McBurney's point. In appendicitis, this area becomes the area inflamed and somatic, and so as I testing for rebound, I push in. Does it hurt more when I do that or when I let go? It hurts when you push in, but they'll go, oh, when you let go. Rovsing's is on the other side, same point. Push in, and you can let go in a rebound fashion over here, and the deal is it produces pain on this side. Okay. The obturator and psoas signs. Obturator is you basically just do this. I tell them to put their foot on their knee and take your knee and touch it to the table. So look how tight that is right there. If they've got any type of peritonitis going on, they won't do that. That's painful. The other thing is to just bend your knee just a little bit. There you go. Now lift up against my hand. So that's the strongest flexor there is your iliopsoas, and you're just tightening that muscle up. The jar test is you just come down here and don't go and knock the hell out of Joy's foot. Just, do like that. And you can see her abdomen moving. You see her abdomen moving? That's enough to cause pain, okay? The cutaneous, she's got a good cutaneous scratch test. If you're dealing with, you see it? Can you see her abdomen moving? Kind of a little freaky there, aren't you?
I'm ticklish.
So T10 is here, 8 and 9 is above, 10, 11 is below. So if you're dealing with spinal cord, this is not a special test that you would do on an abdominal exam unless you're dealing with spinal cord injury, really. Let's see, what else are we missing here? Is that about all?
I think that was the only special test we did.
Especially the only ones we're talking about. The last thing, two last things. One is because the pelvis is connected to the abdomen, I always just press suprapubic, any pain there, and in the adnexa on either. I'm sorry, maybe it's pain. In the adnexa. If they're about to have, they're middle of the month, be careful about pressing on the ovaries because they're about ready to ovulate. If they're first day of your period, be careful pressing over the suprapubic region. That's probably not delightful. And then finally, you can pull your shirt down. Have them sit up here, and as they sit, help them up. I'm going to press your angles, your back here. Does that hurt? How about that right there? Or you can just do it. Does that hurt like that? How about on this side over here? Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am. So she's, y'all need to get after her because you can feel her kidneys really well, and you can define her liver really well. Okay.
I'll bite your eyebrows to make it stop.
Did you want to go through it without talking, or was that good enough right there?